Welcome to the Engage for More podcast. We're excited that you're joining us today.
Yes.
We exist to encourage you to engage and experience the more that Jesus came to offer you. Hi, my name is Pam Pegram, and I'm hanging out with my friend.
Hey, I'm Kim Ball.
Yay!
Thank you for joining us today.
Yes, we're always excited to be with y'all.
Yes, another week and another good conversation, right?
Yes,
And
for
this
sure.
week, we are talking about, do I have a purpose?
And it's episode number 148.
Yes.
Yes.
148.
Do I have purpose?
Yeah. And,
Do I?
Absolutely. Pam Pegram has a purpose.
Yes, and so does Kim Ball,
Yeah.
and so do you.
Absolutely.
You have purpose. You were created on purpose, and you've been filled with purpose.
Yes. And I
By
think
who?
by God.
Yes.
That's right. And I think that goes back to Genesis at the beginning of the Bible, where he created Adam and Eve for a purpose. And because of the fall of man, that purpose kind of got God's purposes versus man's purposes kind of became there lies tension in between, right?
Yes.
And because of the fall of man, we've seen this tension in that. And so we know that from the very beginning, he gave us a purpose to be fruitful and multiply. Right. Mm-hmm. Our main purpose is to glorify him.
Yes.
Right. And so
Yes.
everything we do should be to glorify him.
To fear him.
Yes.
And to keep his commandments.
That's right.
That's our purpose.
Exactly.
Yes,
That's
we're
right.
to do that, to follow Jesus and to lead others to him.
Yeah. And so when we look back in Genesis 1:28, where he commands us to multiply, I do believe that he was wanting us to talk about multiplication as far as expanding the nations, but I do believe spiritual multiplication was within that, because we know that Jesus was there from the beginning of the world.
Yes.
It was the Trinity was there. Jesus never multiplied physically, but he multiplied spiritually. And so spiritual multiplication.
Well, I love that.
I know. Isn't
I don't
that
think
wonderful?
I've ever heard anybody say that, Kim.
I know.
Well,
God has just revealed that to me
Kim's
last
preaching.
month. But so many people think about, multiplication is multiply is not always, having to create,
Yes.
in every, create
because
other
he says be
beings.
fruitful, which
fruitful.
we know the fruits of the Spirit. We're supposed to be growing and transforming and becoming more like him. And
Right.
Yes.
Right. But Jesus,
Because we are abiding in the vine.
that's right. That's
Yes.
right. And so, but spiritual multiplication was
Yes.
always what we were created for, is so that we
Love it.
could multiply the Christians and more Christians leading to more Christians, right?
Yes.
So, but anyway, so that's kind of where I kind of, in preparing for today, went back to think, our very purposes were discussed in Genesis. And then as we go throughout the Bible, we learn so many things about the tension, like I talked about, between what our plans are and what our purposes are for ourselves and God's purposes, right? And I love it right in Genesis where we see Noah.
Yeah.
God had him at a season for a purpose to build the ark. And many scholars believe that maybe it had never rained before this time. And so many people are thinking, what are you doing, Noah?
Yes,
What
you've
is
lost
your
your
purpose
mind.
in
You've
this?
lost your mind.
You've lost your mind,
Yes.
right? Yeah, absolutely. What is your purpose in building this ark? But God had given a purpose. And sometimes the purpose that he gives us doesn't go in with the crowd, doesn't
Right.
follow the crowd. It actually doesn't allow us to fit in the mold.
No, we don't want to go along with the crowd, right? And narrow is the gate, right?
Yes,
and why,
exactly.
we don't want to be with the world. We want to be set apart. We want to be different. And I think, it's just going to get harder.
Mm-hmm.
It's just going to get more obvious that we're different, and we have to be okay with that. But I'm listening to you talk, and it's so good. but it's a little deep, you know what I mean, too. And I'm thinking some people are like, oh, I just thought my purpose was to be happy. You know, I think some of us get so confused about that. And they're like, well, God wants me to be happy, right? Like, God loves me and he wants me to be happy. Well, I mean, there's a difference in joy and happiness. And we're not intended to always be happy.
Right.
We can always have joy because we know that God is with us and that he won't leave us or forsake us. And we know that we can trust him and we know that we can worship him. Even in desperation, even in times of suffering. And so that brings us joy because we know that he loves us so much and that he's with us. But that's not the same as being happy all the time. Happiness is not our purpose.
No.
Matter of fact, we're sure to be unhappy sometimes.
Right. Because, I mean, really, the goal of God is for us to be more and more like him.
Yes.
And it's the fires that we go through, it's the storms, it's the battles that we go through that are the refining fire that melt away the impurities and make us more like him, which is our purpose, to be made in him. We are made in his image, but to look more like him.
And all of those things in our life, let me be careful about how I say that, but many of the things that we go through in our life, they have purpose.
Yes, they do.
And God uses them. God uses everything we go through for good. I know there's always the question, why does God allow things, to happen and all of that? And I heard Johnny Erickson Tata one time say he allows what he hates so he can accomplish what he loves. And the reality is if we only have a good life and everything is easy breezy and we're just happy and all the time, we don't even need God. Like we would never even know that he's good. We would never even invite him into our life. If you know what I mean, it's the challenging times that make us cry out to him. And it's in those times of suffering where he meets us and reveals to us who he is. And when we learn how to walk with him and talk with him, and it's what's best for us. It's almost like when we raise our kids and sometimes we take something away from them that they love so much, right? Like their iPad. Like this is mine for a while, right? And we take it away from them because we know that it's going to be beneficial to them to be without this iPad for a while.
Right. Exactly.
And so it's not that we're being mean or ugly or we're doing what's best for them in that time. And so and so that happens too. God helps us to find our purpose, right? When we clear the clutter sometimes of everything that we're relying on and believing on and trusting in. God helps us to see that that's not what I'm supposed to be placing my trust in. I need to place it in him.
We see in the Bible, like I said, it all starts in Genesis, is when we hear the hissing, like you like to say, the hissing of the serpent. And when he said, did God really say? He was luring us away from the purpose. What were Adam and Eve's purpose in the garden, right? And but Satan was luring Adam and Eve away from their intended purposes. And I think it's no different from us today. It was when he gets us to want to do what we want to do because it feels good to us. We want what we don't have, that low-hanging fruit of the tree of good and evil, right? And so, but we see that there. We're no different.
The tree of life.
The tree of life.
Yes.
Right. Sorry. My mind just tripped over that. But anyway, all that I'm trying to say is Satan tries to lure us away from our intended purposes of glorifying him. And he says, don't you want to glorify yourself? Don't you want to be known? You just want to be seen. Don't you want this for your glory? And it sounds good to us. If we're real, like
he makes us think, he wants us to think that God is stingy and withholding things from us and that he is, not a loving God, but that he is an angry God who wants to take everything away from us. And that is not true at all. And so we miss out on the purpose and the intent that God has for us when we believe those lies and when we think that our life is to be all about me. And that it's about me achieving success in my terms and about me accomplishing what I want to accomplish and making my dreams come true. But what happens is when we decide to be obedient, and when he starts showing us his plan and his purpose for our life, it is far better than our plan and our purpose. And maybe not by the world's view, they might not necessarily agree. But for me, I know, so many years I was afraid of what I would have to give up to follow hard after Jesus. And I had no idea what I was going to gain.
Yes.
And all that he had for me, the more that we talk about, that when I started to engage him and that he showed me the more that he had for me. It was the first time I ever really learned what peace really was.
Yes.
Like peace, like perfect peace, right? And, or how to truly trust him, even in hard situations, or, to learn that he's my provider, not me.
Right.
It's not my work ethic that's providing for me.
No,
it's him.
It's him.
And so just, what you gain far surpasses anything that you surrender.
Absolutely. So we have to make a continual, like a daily prayer. In Proverbs 19:21, it's where exactly God had me this morning. So it's just kind of funny. It says, many are the plans in the mind of man, but it is the purpose of the Lord that will stand. And so I have lots of plans in my plan book. I am a planner. I'm a type A. I like to have everything planned out, but it's God's purposes that will stand. And so we must make a continual, intentional decision to follow the purpose of God each day. And so it's waking up saying, God, what do you want me to do today? God, and I think Gwen says that a lot, God, what are we doing today, Daddy? So what is the purpose that you have for me today? And thank the Lord that his mercies are new every morning, but just getting up and saying, Lord, what is my purpose for today? And so for me, it's having to rein back on that type A planner self, which is hard. That's a sacrifice of mine. Like, I take it back. I don't like it, but Lord, what are your purposes today? And it means asking God for that each morning.
Yes. Yeah. And what is it you have for me to do? And we've walked that, and y'all have watched us walk it. With Engage for More, we started out not really knowing what we were going to do with Engage for More. And then God showed us that he was calling us to coach, and then he's just has taken it to where each one of us kind of have a different niche, like a thing that we want to talk about and that God is using us to speak about. And it's been so fun to watch that and to see his purpose. But, for me, he's really taught me that if I am to be becoming more and more like Jesus, then that means that I am to be about my Father's business, the same way that Jesus, the whole 33 years he was here on earth, he was about his Father's business.
That's right.
Like,
that's
even
so
as
good.
a kid, he was in the temple teaching, right? He was about his Father's business, and that's what we are to be doing. That's a part of our purpose. And so you have unique gifts, you have unique skill sets, things that God wants to use for his glory, for his kingdom. And how is he wanting you to do that? Like, what is his plan for you? What is his purpose for you? Yeah. Like, you're not an accident. You're not here by mistake. You're here on purpose. And so now, how do we fulfill that purpose?
Yeah.
How do we fulfill that? And I think we've got to take our eyes off of ourselves. We've got to quit being comfortable.
Yeah.
I think comfortable is part of the enemy. Even at my age, all of my friends are like, oh, are you retired yet? Are you retiring? Are you just going to stay home and keep your grandchildren? My grandchildren are a part of my purpose, 100%. They are a part of my calling, and God has convinced me that I am to be leading all 10 of them to Jesus, right? Like, he has called me to do that, and I'm intentional about talking to them about Jesus, but yet he also has given me the purpose of pouring into women. And I do have 8 granddaughters.
Yes, that's right. And those are important women to pour into.
I am raising these, helping raise them up to be passionate followers of Jesus. But So there is a purpose in that, and we have to just say yes. Yes, it's not about what I thought my 60s would look like, right? It's about, God, what do you want my 60s to look like?
Exactly.
And so for me, I'm excited. This is new. I just feel like we're just beginning.
Yes, absolutely.
Some great journey that God is allowing us to go on, and you get to be a part of it.
Yeah.
You get to come on the journey with us. And so what is he asking you to do, and how can we help you?
Exactly.
How can we help you do that?
I want to piggyback on that, because so many women that I walk alongside are like, I'm just, I don't feel like, I feel like I have to be at some certain level before I can lead a Bible study, or I could ask somebody to do a Bible study with me, or that I need to know it all, or I need to be at some, kind of self-made point in my life before I can do something. And just probably been about 6 weeks or so ago, a lady had come to me and they were asking her to lead a life group here at our church. And she was like, I just don't feel like I know enough about the Bible to lead a life group. And so we started talking about that. God doesn't want us to have arrived, because we would never start anything. We've never arrived. Yeah. We are always on a continuum of learning, but he wants us to start now. He wants us to start now with what he's called us to do. So if he has put a stirring or something in your life that is just stirring, and you're not sure if you can start that right now, whether it's a meeting with a group of ladies, or teaching a Bible study, or leading that mission serve team, whatever it is, and you're just thinking, I'll just have to wait like a couple more years, start now.
Yeah.
Start now.
Yes.
Your purpose is to do what God's called you to do, in obedience to what he's called you to do, because delayed obedience, just kicking the can down the road, is disobedience.
And, if you're leading a Bible study, you're not going to write the Bible study. No. Like somebody else has written it who feels called to do that. And so you're really just facilitating it.
Yes.
And I know for me, gosh, those have been some of the most formative years in my spiritual walk, is when I would lead a Bible study. That's where, gosh, that changed what I believe about myself. One of the very first Bible studies I ever led was The Lies That Women Believe.
Yeah.
And what a help that was to me. And so nobody learns more than the teacher, right? Because you're the one,
right.
You do all the lessons.
Yes.
The other people, they just do about half of them, but you do all the lessons. And so you're going to get more out of it than anybody.
That's right.
It's such a benefit and such an encouragement to you. But everybody's just looking for somebody who's one step ahead. They don't want someone who's way down the road.
No.
They just want somebody one step ahead to just reach back and grab their hand and say, come on, let's go. We'll go together.
That's right.
And so you grab the hand of somebody in front of you, and then you turn around and grab the hand of somebody behind you and bring them along with you.
Right. It's been said
it's the
that
Titus,
Titus
woman.
Right.
Titus 2.
Titus 2 woman. And we're, back when God called me to start women's ministry, it's been probably 9 years ago now. I've been 11 years on staff, but 9 years ago, where God just asked me to start women's ministry, I was like, Lord, are you crazy? I mean, seriously, because who am I?
I love that.
Who am I to start a women's ministry? I haven't been through seminary. Talking about not knowing everything about the Bible, but God gave me the purpose from the very beginning, is just to walk alongside the women that I come in contact with. Yeah. And we can all do that. So
here's the thing that I think we all do, is that it's not about you.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not about you. It's not about your past. It's not about what you know. It's about him. It's about who he is. It's about what he has done. Mm-hmm. And so we can stop making it all about me, because God can use anybody.
Yeah.
All he's asking is that we're willing. And so he's asking you today, are you ready? Are you willing to pursue the purpose for which I have created you? Are you willing to say, yes, Lord, I will. Yeah. Yes, I want to do what you want me to do. Are you willing to walk in obedience to him and let him tell you
Yeah.
Here's what I have planned for you.
That's right.
Yeah, that's
right.
exciting and fun.
It is exciting, and it starts today. So if you have not been in a place where you've asked God, like, what really is my purpose? Ask him what he has for you, but take time to listen.
Yes.
Take time to listen today. And when you feel that Holy Spirit stirring in your heart, act on it.
Yes.
Act on it, and let's just see what God's going to do, because we are all just grabbing each other's hand, like we just said, and walking each other home. That's not difficult.
Yes.
That is not difficult.
Yes.
So we thank you so much for listening today.
And hey, it's our birthday month.
It is. So tell them about our birthday month. What's going on our birthday month?
This is our third year that we have been here engaged for more. And so that's so exciting for us. And so this might be for somebody out there listening, is we're actually offering 30% off our month-to-month coaching. What that means is you sign up, and it would be recurring payment every single month. For month-to-month coaching, you get 2 sessions each month with us for an hour, 2 times a month, and where we just focus on where you are and where you want to go, and we get you moving in that direction. And you can sign up and do it you can cancel at any time. So you might have 2 sessions and go, okay, I got everything I need from you, and you can stop it and be done, or you can continue. It's just totally up to you. But if God is just tapping you on the shoulder and say, girl, let's get busy fulfilling your purpose, then maybe you want somebody to come alongside you, somebody who is just a couple steps ahead, and we would be so honored to do that. And it's a great time to do it while it's at this great price, this birthday special. We've never had
this great of a price, and you are worth the investment.
And then also, right now, we have just each launched a new course. You might want to grab that. It will never be the price that it is right now.
Never.
It is a crazy good price for what you get. So go to engageformore.com, go to our store, look at all of the services that we offer you, check out coaching, see if it's a good fit for you. Tell your friends about it, because everybody needs somebody just to pour into them, to be their
accountability.
Accountability and wisdom, and to seek wise counsel. Like, you just need someone.
That's right.
To walk with you through this season of life. And so we would love that. So thank you for joining us. We're so glad you're here, and share the podcast with your friends.
Yes.
Okay. See you next week.